to order at 4 p.m. on 4/9/2024. Please stand with me, and you're welcome to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good afternoon. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Supervisor Evans.
Here.
Councilwoman Cunningham.
Here.
Councilman Malone. Councilman Perticone.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Here.
Attorney for the town.
Here.
I'm going to ask the board members and the members of the Rochester Parkinson's Group to join me in the middle, please. To get their hand out. Is that you? Hi, I'm Andre. It's a pleasure. Weird setup because we don't have a mic down here, so I'm going to. Proclamation from the town of Arundecoit. Whereas the Parkinson's disease is a neurodegenerative disorder that affects predominantly the dopamine-producing neurons in a specific area of the brain called the substantia nigra, and whereas nearly 1 million people in the United States and millions more worldwide are living with Parkinson's, and this number is expected to reach 1.2 million by 2030, and whereas the Parkinson is the second most common neurodegenerative disease after Alzheimer's disease, and whereas the cause of Parkinson's remains largely unknown, and whereas despite significant advancements in treatment, there is not yet a cure for Parkinson's disease, and whereas World Parkinson's Day is observed April 11th, now let it be resolved that the town of Arundecoit does hereby affirm our commitment to raising awareness of Parkinson's disease and its impact on those suffering from it as well as on our community as a whole. Affirmably by the town board, April 9, 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Long time Arundecoiters.
Yeah, I know, right?
Very nice, right?
So I want to begin by thanking everyone who participated in the eclipse celebration throughout the town, especially the Irondequoit Eclipse event at the Hillman Nature Center. Thank you to all the police officers and DPW workers and West Irondequoit Security who provided the security guidance and infrastructure to make it a successful event. Thank you to the emergency services and all the agencies that staff the Town Emergency Operations Center. We greatly appreciate the partnership between the town recreation and especially event staff and the Hillman Nature Center. Thank you for all your good work, Madam Director. A highlight of the event was also the collaboration with Cornell Extension Services, who provided some great resources and information to the people while everyone had fun and ate a lot of food. April Arbor Day is April 26th, and we're looking for residents and families to help sponsor the right-of-way trees by working with the DPW, and Madam Commissioner will go into that in more detail. And also, please note that because we're installing a new software system, we will not have a review of the financial report, and the financial reports will be back on track in May or June, correct? All right, may I please have the department heads updates, please?
Thank you. Just for IT, it is going through the software for the financial system upgrade. That's going well and on track to be fully implemented here shortly. Secondly, we are starting to move through payroll and time and attendance, looking to have that upgraded in the next coming months.
Thank you, Mr. Director.
From community development, I just have some numbers to share as I'm a statistics person, just to give you an idea of what kind of work we do, because I feel like we've come up short with sharing that with the board in the past. For the building department, in the month of March, we issued 108 building permits. That's more than $500,000 in construction activity here in the town of Irondequoit just in March alone. We also performed 106 construction inspections during that time period. From our code enforcement office, we had 158 code enforcement complaints which were investigated and followed through on during the month, of which the top 3 categories are 35 bulk refuse, which is trash on a lawn or unkept lawns, things like that. 15 vehicles parked in lawns and 8 sign complaints. The fire marshal's office had 16 complaints that they investigated during the time period, 2 structure fires, and also 2 buildings that were driven into by vehicles. In terms of staffing for our department, we're currently operating short 2 full-time inspectors going into the busiest season of the year, of which we're in the final stages to hire a fire marshal to replace my position. One other update is we've now labeled our community development vehicles to coincide with the person that's inside of them, just to give that visibility to the community that we're out there and kind of who we are out in the town as we're out and about.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner.
Hello? Yeah. Thank you. So this month we did wrap up the tree trimming project throughout town. So Flower City did a great job and they finished that work. Also, starting today, the Keeler Construction started the Seneca Road reconstruction project. That foresee a few months of construction there. Also, later this month, we are hosting the electronics recycling, the first one in April 20th. And as the supervisor mentioned, we're also gearing up. Because we're a Tree City USA, we also celebrate with a Arbor Day ceremony. So we thought an idea this year is to engage our residents to help. So if you're interested in having help out with the right-of-way tree planting in your area, then you can email us at treedepartment@irondequoit.gov, and you can help, be the next future wave of tree stewards in town to expand our urban tree canopy. Also down at Camp Eastman, you'll see some site work happening. So that is our splash pad that is going underway, with more to come. And other than that, we're gearing up with sidewalk work as well as our road reconstruction projects underway. The first phase, you'll start seeing oil and stone will start first, and then that will be about 3 weeks worth of work, and then we will move into our mill and pave operation into the summer.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. I just want to add that in a couple of weeks, the residents should be able to come in and look at the phased operations for Camp Eastman and the Backyard Project. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you very much. Madam Director?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. As you had mentioned yesterday, we were able to participate in the townwide solar eclipse celebration at the Helmer Nature Center. Was a pretty nice turnout, especially considering how it was overcast and people were uncertain about what they would be able to experience. But I think anybody who did participate in either the town or event or, far and wide in the different activities and events got to be a part of a pretty cool experience either way. So great partnership with Helmer Nature Center, the West Arundecoit School District, and Monroe Cornell Cooperative Extension. So we were happy to be a part of that event yesterday. Thank you. Upcoming items, summer camp registration kicks off this Sunday at 10 a.m. at the community center. Always a highly coveted date each year, so we have a lot of parents and caregivers that are excited to be able to get their kiddos lined up for summer camp this year. Our first pickleball tournament will be taking place on Sunday, April 28th from 9 to 5. We'll be talking about it in a resolution later in this meeting, but we are looking to donate a portion of the proceeds to the Father Tracy Advocacy Center. In addition, the Recreation Department will be closing a little bit early on Friday, May 3rd at 5 o'clock. We'll be having a full staff training event that evening, which will include the full active killer training for all of our staff. And then summer camp counselor interviews will take place on Saturday, May 11th. If anyone knows of anyone ages 16 and older that are looking for something meaningful to do this summer and who enjoy working with kids, we would love to have them apply to be a part of our program this summer. And we'll be taking applications right up until that point on Saturday, May 11th. And then just a final reminder that the United Way Day of Caring is coming up on Thursday, May 23rd from 9 to 12. So we are looking for volunteers to help take on some of the townwide projects that we will be taking care of on that morning in conjunction with DPW.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Supervisor and Council, from the Assessor's Office, we have 4 legal notices that have been drafted and are ready to send to the publisher. Those 4 legal notices are notices that have to be put out to the community because we have a tentative roll coming up that is going to be published on 1 May. And those notices let people know that that is going to be published and how they can grieve that assessment that gets published tentatively on 1 May and that entire process. So those notices are queued up, ready to go. We have 2 weeks left before the county will demand that we close our books per se, so we have to have that tentative roll ready so that each parcel that was undergoing either a brand new construction or perhaps a house that had caught fire that has been rebuilt or renovated, all those have to be buttoned up and assessed and a value asserted by the 24th of this month. Tagging along the same theme of the tentative roll, I've reached out to the Board of Assessment Review, not volunteers, they're actually paid, but the 5-body team that will sit and hear grievances, and all 5 have accepted. And our first grievance day will be the 28th of May, which is a Tuesday. It actually coincides with the last day that people can file grievances, but as we get grievances coming in on 1 May, we'll start scheduling them for that Tuesday, the 28th of May, and hopefully we don't have so many that the grievances and those grievances meetings with the bar go far into June and potentially July. That's all I have from the Assessor's Office. pending any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Director HR?
Thank you. Just a couple updates from HR. As the Director of Development Services mentioned, we hope to have a fire marshal on the agenda next week to add to the other appointments. Shannon already mentioned the summer applications for 16 and over. We're also accepting seasonal labor applications for those 18 and over. This morning we posted 2 full-time laborer positions. Those are current vacancies. And just one other thing to mention, tomorrow our DEI Citizens Advisory Council will meet here 6 o'clock in the Broderick Room. And that's open to all, so please attend if you can.
Thanks very much. Chief?
Yes, sir. We are obviously actively filling a lot of our positions. Last month we had our permanent promotion to captain and lieutenant. We have 2 recruits that are about ready to graduate the academy. They're doing quite well. They're going to be helpful additions to the department. We also are, obviously, one of our resolutions today is looking to hire a lateral candidate from an outside agency. Also looking to promote an investigator this month, and just about finishing up the paperwork and getting our task force officer started with the ATF task force. Next month we'll have another resolution for attaching an investigator to an FBI task force for crimes against children. So we're looking to we're actively recruiting, and we've had interviews last week of 3 potential candidates, and we also have another interview this Friday for another potential lateral candidate. So hopefully we'll find our 2 open positions and we'll be fully staffed.
All right. Thanks very much, Chief.
Okay, from the comptroller's office, we had auditors from Dio Group in a couple weeks ago. They're finishing up the audit. The AFR report will be filed with New York State by May 1st, which is when it's due. The financial statements should be done by mid-May or in early June, so there will be a presentation from Bonadio following completion. We did have a band sale last week. We got a rate of 3.563% on the ban. We are working on the CDBG plan for next year. The supervisor, myself, and LaBella met and came up with a plan. We will be asking, there's a resolution for next week to call a public hearing on that plan. And as Kevin said, we are working through the financial system. Right now, we are straddling 2 financial systems. So thank you for your consideration and not having a financial report this month, but we are working to get the information on one system so we can present that next month.
From the town clerk's office, currently we are collecting taxes through the end of the month. We're very busy with marriage licenses and passports, and we're just hopefully be able to hire someone soon in that office.
Okay, now we review the items for the 16 April, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Madam-
I only have a couple of legislative updates. The town is continuing to look at the secondhand dealers law, which is going to be mentioned later on in this agenda. It's on the agenda for next week. It's proposed that the original 6-month moratorium on the issuance of licenses will be extended for another 6 months while the town completes that update on the law. In addition, per the resolution that was passed last month, the town has officially engaged LaBella to assist with the overhaul of the zoning code, and that is currently getting underway.
Thank you very much. The town now will review the items for the 16 April regular town board meeting. Madam Clerk, can you read the first item?
Appointments. Item number 1, resolution authorizing the permanent appointment of a recreation director in the Arundecoit Recreation Department.
May I have an explanation?
Absolutely. Shannon Grieve is our recreation director. Shannon was appointed provisionally way back in November of 2022. The exam has since been given, and she just barely passed with a score of 100. So that would qualify her for a permanent appointment.
You think? Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 2, authorizing the appointment of an investigator in the Arundecoyt Police Department.
Chief?
Yes, sir. Hoping to actually promote Joe Shevlin. He's our current union president, but he's a 13-year veteran of the department. He has a ton of experience, including our former ERT team, and the amount of investigations that he has completed. He does not pass on any investigative work that comes to him. He is fully ready to take this position on. He is expert in search warrants, investigations of all type, including electronic investigations, and he'll be a welcome addition and sorely needed addition to our investigative staff.
Thank you. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Authorizing the permanent appointment of a custodian in the Building Maintenance Department.
Mr. Director?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. As I mentioned last month, we are converting our light laborers in the white-collar CSEA unit to custodians, and this would be the final employee to qualify for that transfer to the new title. This will be an appointment of Stephen Fluke to the permanent title of custodian.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 4, authorizing the scheduling of a public hearing pertaining to the adoption of the Arundecoyt 2024 Community Development Block Grant Program.
So this resolution will authorize a public hearing at the May board meeting for discussion on the proposed plan for the CDBG funding for the upcoming program year, which starts August 1st. We are basing our initial estimates on the current year allocation of $895,000. We do not have a final allocation from the federal government yet.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 5, authorizing the amendment of the town's jury duty policy.
Mr. Director?
Thank you. As you've seen over the past several months, we're updating a lot of our HR policies. This jury duty policy goes back quite some time. It was really about 3 lines long, and it left a lot for interpretation. So this lays out expectations and benefits for permanent full-time and part-time employees.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 6, authorizing the adoption of a fraternization and workplace dating disclosure policy.
Mr. Director?
Thank you, sir. At the request of the supervisor, I drafted a fraternization and workplace dating policy. The town has several kind of adjacent policies: the sexual harassment prevention, employment of relatives. This is more all-encompassing, and it includes a disclosure requirement. Essentially, we're not trying to get in anyone's business. We're just trying to make sure that their personal business doesn't affect the operation of the town.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 7, authorizing an employee to attend the PSHRA Annual Conference in Washington, D.C.
Mr. Director?
Thank you. I humbly seek your approval once again to attend the PASHRA Annual Conference. This year it'll be held just after Labor Day in Washington, D.C. This is the Public Sector HR Association. The cost will be somewhat mitigated as I am an executive council member and the treasurer of the organization. So the town was only responsible for 2 nights of hotel and the conference registration.
Thank you. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 8, authorizing attendance at the 2024 Bavona Child Advocacy Center Child Abuse Summit.
Chief?
Yes, sir. This is going to be a critical training for an investigator who routinely investigates cases of child abuse and crimes against children. Happens every year. Obviously, we have a great working relationship with the Bavona Child Advocacy Center, and obviously, I like to say that these investigators do God's work, so well needed.
Thank you. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Item number 9, authorizing attendance at a criminal investigations using cellular technologies basic 40-hour cellular investigations course.
Chief?
Yes, sir. This is going to be for one of our investigators. It is an expensive training, but it is all with based on cellular evidence, cell tower dumps, everything the way that most investigations are going these days, because everybody carries a cell phone. So this is much needed, and this will give basically all of our officers the critical training for these type of investigations.
Thank you. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Authorizing attendance at the New York Association of Hostage Negotiators 2024 Annual Conference.
Chief?
Yes, sir. This is our yearly training for our hostage negotiators. We have 7 people on our hostage negotiators team, and 4 spots are being provided free of charge, and so we're only going to be responsible for 3. Again, great training. Gives our officers those critical verbal skills to be able to safely resolve a situation by usually talking things out. Great way for de-escalation, and these guys use this training throughout the year, not just on critical incidents. So it's very good training.
Thank you. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Item number 11, calling for a public hearing on a local law implementing a moratorium on issuance of secondhand dealer licenses.
Chief?
Yes, sir. We already asked for 6 months back in November for this moratorium, and I'm hoping to extend that. The reason for that is we just had a long-term federal investigation that's just wrapping up in the town. That included pawn shops in other towns. I was really trying to make sure that the town of Irondequoit was insured against anything like this possibly happening in the future. So I want to make sure that our ordinance are updated and make sure that, like I said, basically we don't have these same things that happen in other towns happen in our town.
Any discussion? I do have one question.
Yep.
For the public, are you free to say what the nature of that investigation was, or is it not public yet?
Oh, no, they have taken pleas. I think several of the defendants have actually pled guilty. They haven't been sentenced yet, but that included illegal gambling and money laundering through pawn shops by bringing in stolen goods. So definitely not in our town, but it's a problem throughout the region.
Chief, is there a connection with the mass shoplifting and then pawn shops in our area, or is that mainly in other areas?
100% connection.
So it's more of an organized crime thing than the old shoplifting of a kid picking up a lollipop or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, I think you saw the press conference that they had last week. Whether or not there's criminal organizations doing it, but it's easy enough for somebody who owns any place that can easily sell these secondhand goods to put out orders and tell people to come out here, and they know with the appearance tickets they can just run out the door, grab them, and just go and sell these things for 30 cents on the dollar. So it's there are organizations around that actually put out their orders and say, yep, go get this stuff and I'll pay you so much. But it's all fueled by the drug trade.
So any inconvenience from a pawn shop owner, he should understand that this is actually making their business better versus hurting them. Is that Is that an accurate statement?
Oh, correct. I mean, obviously, we would like to sit there and make sure that it's a legitimate business because pawn shops do have a legitimate purpose, but it's the other part of the business that, we want to make sure that is not occurring.
Thanks, Chief. Any other discussion? And thanks for the explanation so the public can be aware.
Absolutely.
Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 12, authorizing the purchase of one 2023 Dodge Charger Police all-wheel drive vehicle for the Arundecoit Police Department.
Chief?
Yes, sir. This is we've had a few fleet vehicle accidents lately. None of our fault, but over the last 3 years, there's been 3 cars that have been totaled. So we've received almost $60,000 in insurance claim checks from the town. So I had an opportunity to find a Dodge Charger downstate to be able to replace some of our fleet quickly with no cost. And so we're using those insurance funds that have already come in to fund this purchase.
Any discussion? So just a correction, so after the replacement of this, we'll be down just one vehicle?
Nope, we actually have 2 vehicles right now waiting to be, that were budgeted last year. We have 2 Ford Explorers that are just waiting to be striped up. They've already been equipped up, and so with that, we'll have 3 brand-new vehicles in the fleet.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk?
Item number 13, awarding a bid for the Titus Avenue sidewalk improvements.
Madam Commissioner?
Yes, thank you. This would award the Titus Ave sidewalk project, which is in front of the Art Center by the DMV and that sort of stretch. This would award the bid to Rock Earth. We did receive 4 bids on this project, and with the help of Labella vetting them, they were the responsible bidder that responded to the project. So this would award it to them.
Thank you. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Item number 14, to declare certain equipment as surplus property.
Madam Commissioner?
This is our, a few times a year we draw together a list of equipment we're no longer using and the trucks and equipment to surplus. So this is where most of this comes from is we have procured new equipment and that replace this such. So, this is a budget. We usually we will put this on municipal auction to recoup funds and put it back into the budget to offset the cost of the new equipment.
Thank you. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Item number 15, authorizing the supervisor to enter into various contracts with vendors for youth, family, adult, group exercise, and senior recreational programs for summer 2024.
Madam Director?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution will allow us to move forward with contracts for our summer program cycle for all of our contracted services, including, as mentioned, group exercise, martial arts, and some youth dance programming. We are also happy to offer pickleball lessons this summer, so I know some of you on the board do dabble in pickleball. You might want to sign up, and so you can get ready for the IPD pickleball tournament in August. Just a heads up. So.
Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Item number 16, authorizing the supervisor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Erase for the 2024 Juneteenth event.
I'll take this one. In 2021, the town entered an agreement with Erase to partner to provide a celebration for Juneteenth. Just for the public information, is a celebration when the last enslaved Africans in the state of Texas, 2 years after the Civil War, I think, was notified that they were free. So it begins, in most historians' perspective, the beginning of our true democracy, where we lived the values of our core. ERACE is a local organization that have done a tremendous job in the last 2 years. I think over 800 people attended on the grounds, and we wish to continue that partnership to bring cultural awareness to our town. Any questions? Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 17, authorizing attendance at the 2024 Town Finance School in Geneva, New York.
This is with the American Association of Towns, which is viable training. They provide training and expertise to town and town staff. And this will allow the controller to attend financial workshop. They'll provide us updated information about trends and analysis and different processes within our town. Any questions?
No questions, but just as a part of that, there's also a council person being sent as well.
I'm sorry, I did forget to include you. So with that, thank you very much, Madam Councilwoman. With that, the American Association also trains council members, assessors, tax receivers, and also many different staff members. And the Madam Controller and the Councilwoman will be attending that training, and it's open to other council people. So one of my goals is for next year is to have the town council as well as key staff attend a lot more of the American Association of Towns training. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 18, authorizing attendance at the 2024 Town Finance School in Albany, New York.
And because I'll be away for that meeting in Geneva, I'll be going to Albany for the same training. For public knowledge, the town supervisor has executive duties, but he also is considered the CFO of the town, as well as the chief operating officer. So this will help me serve the residents better and work in better collaboration with the council and also the controller. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Approving the special event license for the Sunset House 22nd Annual 5K Run and Fitness Walk.
Madam Clerk?
So all approvals have been submitted for the insurance company. They've been doing this for 22 years, and all departments have signed off and been received.
Any questions? Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 20, approving the special event license for the Ridge Cover Volunteer Fire Association's Community Parade and Street Dance fundraiser.
May I have an explanation?
Also, this is their second year doing this. One of our employees actually is the head of the program for the fundraiser. We have all insurance approvals as well as all of the department approvals. And
Any questions? Okay, we have one item for board action. With that, Madam Clerk, can you please read the item?
item number 1 for board action, authorizing attendance to the 2024 New York State Town Clerks Conference.
Motion to adopt?
I'll move it.
Second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
So this resolution will authorize acting town clerk Elder to attend the New York State Town Clerks Conference in Albany on April 21st through April 24th. This was not anticipated in the 2024 budget, so this resolution would also authorize fund balance up to $1,500 to be allocated for this expense.
Any questions or comments?
I would like to also say that I have submitted for a scholarship or grant for this. I'm still waiting for a response from there.
Thank you for that.
With that, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The resolution is adopted. This concludes our workshop meeting for 4/9/2024. Our next meeting is the regular town board meeting on 4/16/2024 at 7 p.m. here in the Broderick Room. Motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second? Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The meeting is adjourned.